Our first guest is calling for criminal investigations of Comey, Hillary Clinton, and other high-ranking Justice departments. Joining me right now, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who serves on a number of key committees, including Judiciary, Budget, and Armed Services. So good to have you here, Congressman. First of all, Comey says, no leak here. Wouldn't leak. Never leaked. That's not a leak. What do you say when the head of the FBI, who had just been out of a job a few hours, then turns around and gives his memos, his classified memos that he wrote while on the job, to his buddy up at Columbia Law so that he can, in turn, leak it to the New York Times so that Comey can get a special counsel? Is that a leak? Well,
I think it absolutely is, Trish, and one of the reasons why the American people have really faced this Comey media blitz with great skepticism is that he is now the one lying about matters both big and small. And when you don't even come clean about what a leak is, or that you've put information into a process or a plan to get it to the media to influence public opinion, you are no longer an investigator. You are no longer worthy to head the Federal Bureau of Investigations. You are trying to be a political hack because you're trying to shape public opinion. Trish, I just got back from reading more of the Strzok and Page text messages, and it's just so obvious to me that the senior leadership at the FBI and some at the Department of Justice were so worried about what the media thought, what were in press reports, what the public was thinking about what they were doing, that they were completely distracted from the work that should have been done to prosecute people like Hillary Clinton and Loretta Lynch and others who clearly broke the law.
Yeah, you know, it's unbelievable. I want to share with the viewers a part of those text messages that Comey commented on here tonight between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. And it was, when I saw the text, he said, I was deeply disappointed in them, but I never saw any bias. I mean, you didn't see any bias? Really, James Comey? I mean, were we all just born yesterday? Because that's what I'm beginning to think he thinks about every one of us out there, between no, I didn't leak, and no, I don't see any bias, when they're talking about how much they cannot stand Donald Trump, Congressman.
Well, it's not that they can't stand him. It's that they hate him. It's that they had a plan in case he was president to have an insurance policy. It's that they thought that Hillary Clinton should win the election without Donald Trump getting a single vote. James Comey describing that as an exchange that lacks bias shows why James Comey lacks credibility, because his view of the facts is so slanted by his desire to drive his own narrative and sell books and say things about the president that frankly are not true. And so here again, you've got this pervasive culture. James Comey was the head of it, but there were a lot of tentacles to this deep state, and it's why it's so important we continue our oversight and our investigations.
I gotta say, he either completely lacks credibility and is so partisan, or he's just plain dumb. I'll say it, because I do not know how, as head of the FBI, you can possibly read that dossier, go to the president about the most crude, disgusting things in the dossier, and not ever think, Congressman, it matters how that dossier came about. He has admitted over and over again that the funding was not anything he cared about or investigated or bothered to even tell the president when he told him about the bad stuff in there to begin with. I mean, that to me is mind-boggling. You either are lousy at your job or you are such a partisan hack that really you don't deserve the position as head of the FBI. Which is it?
Well, I would offer this hypothesis. James Comey's not dumb. He's incredibly cunning. He's capable, but he lacks sincerity, and he was out to get the president. The fact that James Comey was creating these contemporaneous memos, to me, is evidence of a setup. They were trying to set up Donald Trump and create evidence from the very beginning. And when you go look at these text messages from the day when James Comey is fired between Strzok and Page and others, it's so clear that they had a plan all along in case the people wanted Donald Trump to disrupt him and discredit him and delegitimize the duly elected president of the United States. That's why this is an important fight. It's way bigger than Donald Trump or the current members of the Congress. It's about ensuring that the leader of this country is picked by the people and not by the bureaucrats and not the folks in Washington, D.C.
It's the concern about the deep state, and just exactly how deep is it. In this particular case, we may be learning right now in the present that it's pretty deep. Let me ask you about what you're doing to try and fix some of this, because I know you've been very active on that front. You're calling for a lot of investigations. I know you're not pleased with Jeff Sessions right now because you'd like to see him doing a little bit more. in getting some kind of second special counsel. So where do you stand on this? Give us an update.
Well, we have referred Andrew McCabe for criminal prosecution, and the good news is that it appears that that referral was taken favorably and that there will be a U.S. attorney investigation into Andrew McCabe's conduct. There's also the investigation of Hillary Clinton that I believe is currently occurring at the Little Rock office dealing with the Uranium One transaction, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some unadulterated facts from those folks doing that important work. And then also you've got Comey himself. That's the real question. James Comey's leaks, James Comey's perjury and lies to the Congress have to be held to account in some way. And my belief is that the Department of Justice and the FBI cannot investigate themselves, and they cannot investigate their former bosses. That's why we need a second special counsel. And if we don't have one, the president's frustration will continue to exist, and it will continue to be warranted and justified, because we need a second special counsel to hold folks accountable who broke the law.
Oh, I know you're going to keep working on it. Matt Gaetz, thank you very much. It's good to see you tonight.